Badass. Can you feel it?
Yeah, that's good shit.
Listen, here it comes. Here it comes. Right? Yeah. What? All right. Welcome back to another episode of On the Throne with Dick. And shout out to Senjin Boychuk, who made that beautiful intro for me. And, that guy actually, Ben Allen Curry, we have Ben Allen Curry on the show today. And Ben, that guy did all that by himself. Like the riffs, everything, man.
That's
it's
good
insane.
stuff, man. Sounded
Hell
good,
yeah.
too.
Oh, dude, it was incredible. Today we have special guest, Ben Allen Curry.
What's up?
Not much, buddy. What's going on with you?
Dude, just living, man. Trying to balance all the things that got going on. And
you are pretty busy from what I heard when we were talking over the last few days.
A little bit, yeah. We've got work happening and got a little girl to take care of and got a little boy
Birdie
on
Ray.
the way. Yeah, Birdie Ray.
You found out it's a boy, eh?
Yep, we got a boy on the way. He'll be here.
Wow. The $1 million family coming up here.
That's right. That's right.
Good
we got
for you.
White picket fence and everything.
Good for you, buddy. Man, and how old's Birdie Ray now?
She just turned a year at the end of February.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow, man. Time flies. My oldest just turned 5. My youngest just turned 3.
Wow.
Yeah. No, time flies, man. These kids. So you're gonna find out with Birdie Ray when she's a toddler. Toddlers are like a blender without the lid. Oh yeah, they're insane.
She's getting there, man. Like she's starting to like figure out if she fusses, she gets attention. So like when she's eating and maybe we're doing dishes or something, she just starts like screaming and like shaking her head. I'm like, oh my God, this is my child for sure.
Can she say anything yet?
Dude, she's saying a lot. She's saying mama, dada, bottle, thank you, like all kind of stuff, dude. Yeah.
We've come a long way from Birdie Ray. I'd like to meet you.
Yeah. Right. So we're I guess I could kind of tell the story of that since we're talking about her. So when we were 20 weeks pregnant, we went to the doctor, and this is after we had already lost a little girl. So anyway, we went to the doctor, and it was at 20 weeks. We went for our scan, and the doctor the technician was looking, and you kind of tell like she wasn't really saying a whole lot, and we didn't know what we were looking at there. So anyway, we get done with that and go in the doctor's office, and she comes in and she's like, there's something wrong with your little girl, and we don't know what it is, and you're going to have to go see a specialist. And like, just this sinking feeling came over us, man. Like, because we had just gone through this, we had just lost a little girl. So we're like, oh my God, here we are again. Something terrible is wrong, and we're going to lose another child. And so it was actually that day that I went home and just kind of sat by myself and was thinking about all these emotions. And I wrote that song, Birdie Ray. And I think it was a couple days later, I ended up playing it for my wife. And that's where that video kind of went viral on that. But anyway, after that, we went to go see a specialist a couple days later and found out she was diagnosed with spina bifida, which is it's called a neural tube defect. So something when they're forming, like their spine and their nerves don't quite form properly. And they call it the snowflake disease because like every child that has it is different. And you don't really know like how bad it's going to be, what the effects are going to be. So, and if I knew now or knew then what I know now, like I wouldn't have worried one bit because dude, she is absolutely amazing. Like, she is overcoming everything. Like she hasn't started walking yet, which a lot of those kids usually have problems walking. But they also, a lot of fluid gets built up in their brain, like spinal fluid.
Yeah.
And they usually have to have like a drain put in. And she hasn't had to have that so far. And
that's amazing.
Yeah, dude. She's crawling. She's standing on her own. I mean, she is so close to walking. It's not even funny. I mean, she can hold my hand with one arm, and she can follow me around the house. Like,
Kids are resilient, man. When there's a way, there's a will, or when there's a will, there's a way. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Man, my daughter behind in her speech. You know what I mean? She has a hard time talking, or had a hard time talking. You know what I mean? And we thought she was 5 weeks early, so she had. She was already behind. She had to spend some time in the NICU, and we knew she was going to be a little bit behind, anyways, right? So come school time, it's like, oh shit, look at that kid over there is saying things in full sentences, and my daughter can't say anything yet, and not anything, but she has a hard time saying some things. Well, man, let me tell you, the school system has gone above and beyond to helping my daughter with her speech and her language. Her language from when she started school to now. She just started school this past September. So from the time she started till now, night and day difference.
Really?
Oh yeah, they're working on it. We're working on things at home too, right? So yeah, like she's man, kids, man, they'll surprise you every time.
Dude, and they're all so different. Like, we were real into like reading about different kids, like different people with, spina bifida, and like it's like every kid's different. Like they're all going to learn differently. They're going to start walking at different times, start crawling at different times, and we just like quit worrying about all that stuff. Like no matter what it is, like we're still going to love our daughter and enjoy her and be surrounded by her. Like so what's the point of worrying about all that stuff?
That's when I first saw you on TikTok. Actually, the Birdie Ray video popped across my FYP, right? And I was like, oh, damn, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, cool. So I went to your page and I went down the rabbit hole. You work in the oil field in the U.S. And I was like, wow, okay, this is cool. Not only does he, have this incredible singing thing going on, and he's, I'm a father, and he's a soon-to-be father, and all that love he's showing, right? He also works in the oil field, and I'm like, wow, like where is he at? Texas. I think you're in Texas, right?
Well, actually, I live in Louisiana, but yeah, I've been working in Texas for the past like 8 years.
Yeah.
So I'm doing a lot of traveling over there. It's like a 10-hour drive.
Oh, wow.
To work. Yeah. So, but yeah, man, Texas is the hot spot other than Canada.
How did you get into the oil field? Like, like what was your journey there, and why?
Well, so it's funny because my dad worked in the oil field, and my stepdad worked in the oil field. He eventually got into the car business, or painting cars and doing body work. But it's like I always knew like that's where I was going to end up. Like when I graduated high school, college was not a thing on my mind, and so I actually went to work doing electrical work, like commercial, residential, and dude, it's a long story, but I guess we got time, right?
We got time.
So, I struggled with drugs and alcohol like my senior year of high school, and I got strung out on opiates, and that's why I was telling you about listening to that guy's story. That what was his name?
Oh, MGK. So that was episode 2. That was Dennis, or we call him Tyrell.
Right.
Or opiates, Dougie Snakes, right?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Dennis and I were episode 2. Dougie Snakes was episode 8. And Dougie Snakes, wild stories. You should give him a follow for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna check him out. So I too struggle with that stuff, man, and I don't really remember where I got started or how I got started. But dude, next thing I know, I'm just like, just to survive, I'm having to eat opiates, and I mean, it used to be fun at one time, like drinking and all that stuff, and just at some point, it just wasn't anymore, right? And actually, when I was in high school, I got in a fight with this guy, and he pulled out a knife, and he actually stuck it in my side and pulled it down and just about killed me. And that didn't stop me. Like I can remember after that, like getting healed up and recovering. I was actually laying in my bed or on my parents' couch, and I was getting my buddies to bring me a 12-pack. Like I just had like this, I don't know, man. It's just insanity. Like you almost lose your life, and you're sitting there doing the things that got you in that position in the first place, So there were several things that happened that just actually what really got me to get sober and go to treatment was I just ran out of money. Like, I didn't have any more money. I was getting sick, and I was like, man, I've had enough. So I finally told somebody, and I got put into treatment, and that was 13 years ago. So I've been sober for 13 years. But during
Yes,
that
sir.
time, yeah. So during that time, getting back to the oil field, uh, I was like jumping from job to job because I couldn't keep a job, and I was actually on my way to go through orientation to get on a drilling rig. And on the way there, I was like popping Lortabs. Like I couldn't, I just couldn't quit. I knew that they were going to give me a drug test. I knew I was going to fail, and I was taking off doing it anyway. And then, so of course, I failed my drug test, and then I came back, and I stopped by my dad's place on the way back to Louisiana. He owned a tree business, so I actually did tree work for a couple of years, going through all that. And then after I got sober, man, I went to college, went back to college because I failed out the first time, and got a degree in engineering. And as soon as I finished up, man, I went to work in the oil field. So I'm like a field supervisor on
Good
the
for
construction
you.
side. Yeah, man, it's crazy.
Good for you. And you're still sober. You're clean and whatnot.
Yep, been clean 13 years, man.
Good for you, man. No, that's a huge success story. You know what I mean? Good for you, buddy. It takes a strong-minded person to realize that there's an issue and they need help. It takes a strong-minded person or a strong person to admit when there's an issue and there's a problem and it needs to change. So good
Yeah.
for you. Good for you for recognizing that. That's
Well,
huge.
it's crazy, man, because like when I was going through it, I just thought that I was like too young to be alcoholic. I mean, I knew I had a drug problem, but like alcohol was like, I'm too young, like people that are like me, they don't have drug problems. And then I go to treatment and, start being around more sober people, and you realize it's doctors, it's lawyers, it's, the guy,
Everybody.
everybody, dude. Like it can happen to anybody and everybody, and it does. It happens to a lot of people. And it sucks, man. I wish that, especially with the opiates, like that stuff just can ruin you.
How does it make you feel when people look down on oil field workers and say, "Oh, you guys are just on drugs and you're just high and drunk all the time, and go snort another line."
Man, I never, in all the years that I've been out there, I've never really experienced that. Like, have you?
No, never.
Like,
I know I've heard of it. I've heard of it,
right.
but I've never experienced it. I've never seen it. You know what I mean? You hear about it, but you never see it, and
Yeah.
it's.
I
But
mean,
also, if you put yourself in that, if you go searching for it or go seek it out, I'm sure it's not hard. But
right.
I've never personally seen it.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because actually, my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, she had a real close friend. And, we had been seeing each other while I was out in the oil field. Like, I'd be gone for months at a time. And it's funny because her friend was like, "Oh, that's just the oil field guy. You don't need to get with him. He's out there sleeping around and doing drugs and all this stuff." And it's like, what? Like, I
No,
never, yeah, no.
no. There's a few bad apples that give the rest a bad name, right?
Yeah.
And it's hard to shake those the judgmental, or what's the word I'm looking for, the you know the dark cloud that's over that industry, right? Maybe back in the day that was all it was, right? But I think the culture's changing.
For sure. For sure.
Absolutely. So like, how did you get into songwriting? Like, so we're in the oil field, boom, songwriter.
Man, well, when you're out there for 60 hours a week and you're living in a 24-foot camper and, you have your Sundays off, but other than that, I mean, you're working 12, 13 hours a day. Like, I had a guitar. I went back to the camper and started cranking out tunes. I mean, I grew up playing the guitar since I was like 13, but, actually when I got sober is really when I started kind of honing in on it. Then, of course, being in the oil field, I started, like I said, I had plenty of time in the evenings. I wasn't out partying or nothing like that. So I was just writing songs, man. And there was a guy out there that I work with, and we just, we bonded and wrote like that song Midland we wrote together. Rig Welder, which is like a popular one.
Yep,
We
I've
wrote
heard
that
that
song
one.
together. So, that's just what we did when we had spare time. And
Oilfield money.
yeah, boy, actually,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah,
love that song, man.
that's
That's yeah, I can get all the sleep I want when I die.
yeah.
Oilfield money.
It kind
Yeah,
of tells a story, right?
it does, man. And the bags under my eyes, bro. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
it. I'm tired, but hey, you got to make that Oilfield money.
And dude, I was listening to that podcast with, I guess, with Dan, right? We're talking about like mental health and, you know, how you were living with your parents or your wife's parents at the time, and like,
Yeah,
staying away, just working. Like, man, I could relate to that so much because, like, there's times when I could have come home and I'm just like, dude, I'll just stay out here and work and make money. And like, you get addicted to
you
that.
do. You really
Like,
do.
you get addicted to the money, you get addicted to the lifestyle.
Yep.
And
And after a while, yeah, the money's nice, but it becomes less about the money and more about the lifestyle, right?
yeah,
Like, the camaraderie that you experience out there on the rig floor or out on site with the boys, right? Like, it's unmatched. You can't find that anywhere else. I've
right.
tried. You know what I mean? Like, you can't. You're all tired, you're all wet, you're all dirty, you're all missing home, and there's no one else you'd rather go to war with. The guy next to you is experiencing the same thing you're experiencing,
Right.
and you bond. It's kind of like a trauma bond, maybe. I don't want to call it a trauma bond, but it's probably a trauma bond.
It is, dude. Because like that guy that I wrote with out there a lot, I can remember telling him like, dude, this sucks right now. Like, we're working all these hours and not getting to go home, and like, but these are the best days of our lives, probably. Like, one day we're gonna look back and be like, man, I miss those days. And that was, 8 years ago. And I was just talking to him on the phone the other day, and I'm like, you remember when I said that we were gonna miss those days? I was like, I miss those days.
Yeah.
It's,
I we had this conversation in another podcast too about missing this, right? And like, it was cold when we had that conversation, and I'm like, nah, I'm probably not gonna miss it too much. But it's warm outside now, so my attitude's changed a little bit. I'm gonna miss these days one day. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna miss not being able to see my family. I'm
right.
not gonna miss missing all that kind of stuff. But I am gonna miss the camaraderie. I'm gonna miss going to war with the boys. I'm going to miss those long days where you're grinding it out, and you're not just doing it for yourself. You found a higher purpose to do it for. It's getting up when you don't want to get up, your feet hitting the floor when you're too tired to walk, and you find that extra gear anyways, and you do it. You're doing it. You're doing it for a higher purpose, and that's not right now.
I'm pooping.
I'm busy right now. Anyway, so yeah, I'm busy. What? Okay, thank you. I gotta edit that out. Thank you. Anyway,
So you're working right now. You're at what you call camp, right?
Yeah, I'm in camp. Yeah, I'm in camp. Sorry about that.
No worries. I've heard you say that before. I'm like, camp. I guess he's talking about like man camp, right? So y'all have camp set up.
Yeah. We have a camp. This my room. This is my bed, TV in there, the door, and yeah, man, I'm right across from the kitchen. I actually have it. I like it. Over here, I got for those lonely nights, got the KY.
See, they had those out there when I was in West Texas, and I ended up just getting a camper and just stayed in the camper. But I think I probably would have enjoyed like being in a camp because like they cook for you and stuff, right?
Oh yeah. They
Dude,
do food supply.
That's awesome. Yeah. So
you get housekeeping. The housekeeping comes and they clean your room. You get food. You get lunches. You know what I mean?
Y'all have like a workout area, a gym, or
most camps do. Yeah, most camps have like a really nice gym. This one not so well. You got to go down the road there because town is like 10 minutes away.
I got you.
and the gym's right there, right? There's two gyms. This is a really small oil field town, so there's two gyms. One of them is down the road there. It's the multiplex. It's got a pool. It's got like a gymnasium. It's got a gym, hot tub, all that cool stuff. It's got an ice rink. You know, they play hockey there, and then the one down the road from there is open 24/7, whereas that other one is not. But this one's open 24/7. It's got only the workout room. So
Right. That's awesome. So what's your schedule like? Do you work like 2 weeks on, a week off, or what?
So here, and that's what I like about where I currently am, and I've been here for 4 years. I get to set my own schedule, right? I can, I stay in for no less than 3 weeks, right? So 3 weeks is my minimum, and then sometimes 4, once in a while 5. I'll never go above the 5 again. I used to do 6 months at a time when I was living with my in-laws there for a little bit, right? And whatnot, and those were some hard times, man. You know what I mean?
6 months.
Yeah, and I'd go home for less than a week,
Oh my
and then
God.
I'd come back. Right? I didn't like how I was made to feel there. Right?
Yeah.
And my home wasn't home.
Right.
It wasn't a place where I felt welcome. Right? And that's hard mentally. That gets to you, right? And yeah, it was really hard, and I struggled with that for like a year and a half. And close to 2 years maybe. And, I finally one day I was like, okay, I'm done with that. You know what I mean? Like, this is my family. It is time. I need to be there. They need to be near me, and yada yada yada. So we switched things up a bit. So yeah.
So now it's 3 months.
No, 3 weeks.
Okay. I was
Yeah,
like,
no,
geez.
no. Geez, I would never 3 months. No.
Yeah.
I can't ever leave my family like that again. Not for that
Yeah.
long. So that's not good. It's not good for anybody. Me mentally, them mentally, and just the family
Right.
dynamic in total, right? In general. Yeah.
But doesn't it make it so good, like being away and then get to come home? Like, are
Yeah,
you
I
like
get to
off
go.
for like a week?
Yeah, I get to go home in exactly 7 days, so the countdown's on for me. I
Heck
one
yeah.
week till home. 1 week till I'm holding my babies in my arm again, giving them like kisses. My 3-year-old's already said, "Dad, when you come home, we're cuddling on the couch." I'm like, hell yeah. You
Yeah.
don't have to ask me twice. You said sit on the couch. I'm there. You're
Hell
there
yeah.
with me. Perfect. I get to be with my wife and watch movies with her, and husband wife time. We're trying for another baby. We're trying for a third here, so I
Oh wow.
get in some of that hanky panky, I guess.
leave the KY at the camp, huh?
Leave the KY at the camp, man.
Actually,
She's
you may
already
want to
wet
bring that
enough.
with you.
Nope, she's wet enough. Hey, you're eating Chick-fil-A.
Bro, what do you know about the Lord's chicken?
Oh, the Lord's chicken, brother. Okay, so whenever we go to the States, which this time home, we're going to Montana, and we go strictly, we base our trip around where there's a Chick-fil-A, right? We
Really?
got to get that Chick-fil-A. So I used to live out east, and out east went Buffalo, and whenever we go, Chick-fil-A's there, right? They used to have a Chick-fil-A here where I live in the airport. Was shit. It was horrible. Now they've got one in Toronto, 2 in Toronto, maybe even 3. They're building them all over the place anyway. But man, the Lord's chicken.
Dude,
I love their burgers.
gotta
And
get
look
your
what
fix.
they started. Look what they started, man. You know what I mean? Like Chick-fil-A started the chicken burger. Now everyone's got a chicken burger to counter theirs. No one has duplicated it. KFC has come close. KFC is probably the closest that I've had so far to it. Still not there. Still far away.
You ever heard of Popeyes? You probably don't know anything.
Of course. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we have Popeyes here. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, they tried, man, and it wasn't hitting.
Can't do it. Nope, can't do it. Can't do it.
No.
So there's actually a documentary on Netflix about was it Netflix or YouTube about Chick-fil-A and the crazy hierarchy or monarchy they have. And so despite being closed on Sundays, right? Chick-fil-A is the fastest growing restaurant in America, right? And despite not being on every street corner like a McDonald's, they're outgrowing them. They lose almost $2 billion a year not opening up on Sunday. And there is a franchise or a store, I guess, in the Mercedes Superdome, and they refuse to open it on Super Bowl Sunday. They don't care. Money is not. They don't care about the money. It's the Lord's Day. That's it, right?
Yeah.
And so I was reading about it, and they have a succession line drawn up for like the next 100 years or more. So if the current owner dies, his like third brother's son moves into position, and if that doesn't work out, they have like his first brother's daughter moves there, and if that doesn't work out, Billy Joe Cyrus from Montana moves into position. It's insane, man. It's an
Dude,
insane thing that a restaurant chain has all these like plans for what if someone dies.
world domination. It's coming.
World dominant. I can't
Chick-fil-A.
wait.
Well,
Chick-fil-A takeover.
they're so efficient at the drive-through. I don't know if they
Oh
are up
my
there, but it's
god.
like,
Oh yeah.
dude, you can get in and out. You roll up and you're like, oh my god, it's gonna take forever, and then bam, you got your food. So
Yep. You know, In-N-Out. Speaking of In-N-Out, one of my other favorite restaurants in America that we do not have here.
the burger, the In-N-Out
In-N-Out.
burger.
In-N-Out burger, man. Oh
Yeah.
my god. So being from Texas, right? Or you're from Louisiana, you work in Texas. So in Louisiana, how close to NOLA? How close to NOLA are you?
It's like 6 hours.
That's
Yeah,
not north or south.
south. So we got to go south, and yeah, I've had my experiences in New Orleans, and farewell to New Orleans. I try to stay out of it.
You don't like NOLA.
Yeah, dude, we got actually it's a funny story. We were I was like 17, and we're like, let's go to New Orleans because that's what kids around here do. It's like that's the forbidden city, right? So everybody's got to go. So we go down there, and we're underage, of course, and I think we, had some fun and start making our way back, and we decided to pull over and use the bathroom like 3 o'clock in the morning, right? Little closed down gas station right there. So we get out, we're doing the business, and we look up, and it's a sheriff's station right there, and they're outside smoking a cigarette, and they just come over and arrest us. Like, how stupid
For
can
no
you be?
reason?
Well, I mean, it's pissing in public.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and then
Yeah.
the chick that was driving, she got in trouble for underage, supplying alcohol to underage folks because we were all underage, and had to get my sister to come pick us up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, drive 4 hours. There was four of us and her, and she brought her dog, and we're all in the Jeep. So me and my buddy had the ride in the back of the Jeep with a 90-pound German Shepherd for 6 hours. It was a good time.
Nice.
Yeah. She was so pissed, dude. We went to she stopped at McDonald's because, of course, she drove all night to come get us. It was that next morning, and we start to get out of the car to go get us some breakfast. We're hungover, been in the jailhouse, and she's like, "Oh no, you're not eating nothing." She backs up so we can see her sitting in the McDonald's right there eating her breakfast, but wouldn't let us get out of the car.
You fucked with her days, so now you're gonna suffer.
Yeah. She was a baller.
That's awesome, man. So back to your music for a sec there. What's your favorite song?
Man, I guess Oilfield Money, that's the one that I released that really kind of started the cycle. Like, I was in the oil field at the time, and like, of course, the old COVID hit, and that's when I packed up the trailer and moved back home. And I was actually still doing a little bit of work for the company, but we were just so slow, man. Like, we had this big contract and no new work was coming. So I was like, man, I'm just going to start doing my music thing, like now's a good time. So I released a few songs, and then I wrote Oilfield Money one afternoon, and I was like, man, I think this is pretty good, So I put it out and put it on TikTok, and it kind of blew up. And I think it has like, I don't know, it's got almost like 500,000 streams now, like platform wide, between Spotify and iTunes, Apple Music, all that stuff. So it's done pretty good, awesome, man. Yeah.
Where can people find you? Where can people find you on Apple, Spotify, iTunes, and stuff like that? Like where?
It's all Ben Allen Curry's.
Ben Allen Curry.
Yeah. Curry.
Love your music, man. And that's man. I was wondering. I was actually going to ask you. Could you play us Birdie Ray?
Dude, yeah, I got my guitar right here. You think the sound will be all right?
Oh yeah, someone was playing guitar the other day, and it sounded pretty decent. Even if it doesn't, who cares?
If it does,
I love that song, man. That's what initially drew me in, right? And then the rest of your music after that, your content, and I was just like, man, this guy is awesome.
man, I try to keep it funny, try to keep it light, like try not to take myself too seriously. Like I tell everybody the music is a hobby because I do have a career and I like what I do, and it's nice to be able to be a little bit picky, right? So, I'm not counting on music to put food in my child's mouth.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, I can play shows when I want to play shows, or you know, not. Uh, so yeah, it's been good, man. Can you hear that air conditioner running? Is it like too loud?
I can barely hear it.
Okay. How's that sound?
I think it sounds good.
Well, I'm feeling a sharp pain in the pit of my stomach. It's just like someone punched it. No good can come from it. I'm thinking it's all in vain. With the news that we're receiving, there's not much here to believe in. Right now, just wanna get even. Then I called out your name, the one me and your mama gave. Birdie Ray, if you could hold on, I'd like to meet you. There's so many things I want to teach you. Right beside me's where I need you. I don't care what the odds say, and I see only due day. Birdie Ray. They're saying there's a good chance that you'll have complications. 1 in 5, they don't make it. And if you do, it'll be amazing. But you got your mama's strength, and you got my determination. While you're fighting, we'll be praying. And one day they'll be saying, what was that girl's name? The one that overcame. Birdie Ray, if you could hold on, I'd like to meet you. There's so many things I want to teach you. Right beside me's where I need you. I don't care what the odds say, and I'll see on your due day. Birdie Ray. I don't care what the odds say, and I'll see on your due day. Birdie Ray, if you could hold on, I'd like to meet you. There's so many things I want to teach you. Right beside me's where I need you. I don't care what the odds say, and I'll see on your due day. I don't care what the odds say, and I'll see on your due day. Birdie Ray.
Buddy, that's beautiful. And I listen to it like, probably at least once a week or so when I'm listening to my playlist because it's on my playlist. So that Oilfield Money and Rig Welder, they're there, man. I love your tunes.
I
I
appreciate it,
absolutely
man.
love it, man. Like
Yeah.
have you ever gone on tour?
So I've been playing quite a few shows, like locally. I've got a show tomorrow around where I live, and then I've got like 2 shows this weekend in Dallas, and then I've got some in Oklahoma coming up. So
Wow.
just trying to spread the word, man. You know.
Spread the word to the good people.
Yeah.
Have you talked to or I guess talk to. Have you talked to Brian Martin at all?
So it's a funny story. I did talk to Brian Martin, which I absolutely love his music. Like
Yeah, me too.
it's so
Oilfield
good, dude.
Dad. Oilfield Dad
Oilfield
doesn't get
Dad.
better than that,
Oh
man.
my God! Like, and I'd heard that song before Birdie was born, and I knew it was a good song. And then after, I'm like, oh my God, like such a good song. But yeah, so I actually talked to him whenever I did Oilfield Money before I put it out, and I was like, tag him in this video, and me and him chatted up a little bit, and I was trying to get him to cut that song, and he he was going to apparently, but he had a record deal come up, and they didn't want to get involved with it, which was cool, but it was still
Yeah,
nice to like connect with him, because we kind of share some of the same, obviously being in the oil field and stuff, and
yeah. I
right
reached out
song.
to him. I reached out to him about coming on the podcast, and that's the first and only time so far that I've had to deal with someone's agent, right?
Oh,
Like to
really?
come onto my podcast, and it's happening. They agreed they're going to come on. They're going on tour here in April.
Right.
And April, is it April? Yeah, April. And at
Yeah.
some point while they're on their tour, they're actually coming on the podcast. So, or
Hell
he
yeah.
is anyway. And man, that was so cool. As a guy who works in the oil field, is an oil field dad, and just that song hit me before I had kids. And you know what I mean? Like, damn, like I didn't understand it, but I kind of did, right?
Yeah.
I had dogs. No,
Yeah.
right. So no, but I liked the song before I had kids, but when I had kids, man, that song brought tears to my eyes. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
dude.
Like, damn, and so yeah, I was excited when his agent reached out and said, "Hey, man, yeah, absolutely, we should get on a phone call and chat." So I got on the phone, I called them up, we talked for like 20 minutes, and it's happening. So at
That's
some
awesome,
point
dude.
it will happen, and I am excited about that.
That's cool. He's so a guy that I play with quite a bit, who's actually I owe a lot to, Mr. Zeb Rogers. You ought to check him out.
Okay.
Uh, he was, he knows Brian, and they keep in touch. But like, I don't know. I just think the world of Brian. Like, I don't know him personally or hadn't talked to him much, but just love his music, man. Like, it doesn't, I'm, and I like it because he's, you
One of
know,
us.
well, he's one of us, but that's
Yeah.
not all he's about, right? There's
Yeah.
some singers out there that's just like, it's just Oilfield, and all they write is Oilfield stuff, and he's very inspiring because he's gotten away from that. Like, he's not known for just being an Oilfield guy anymore. Like, he's known for being a great writer and good music, and just country badass stuff,
Yeah.
man. He's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, like it helps, and it started here, right? And he acknowledges that, you know what I mean? Like, he's like, hey, I started here, right? And now I'm over here. And you know what? It's perfect because evolution, right? It shows the evolution of of a man, of what man or humans can be and become, right? And he's gone from being a roughneck, you know what I mean? Just another dude on the rig, to
Yeah,
a dude on the rig singing, to a dude on the rig, to a dude not on the rig, who's found his passion, his calling.
yeah,
It shows the rest of us that, hey, man, like, we could do it if we wanted to. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And or if you need to, you know what I mean? And I love that. I
yeah.
love that.
Just got to put the work in, man. Like,
Absolutely.
in sobriety, I found that it's like, growing up, like you hear about these things, and like, being a country star, seeing these guys on CMT, like that stuff was so far away. Like, that's not possible for people like me where I grew up, or people like you probably where you grew up. Like, it's so far fetched. And then, like,
Yep.
the more you live and you start getting close to some of these people, like, well, hell, he's from the same town I'm from, and he did it, or it's
Yep.
just awesome. It's very inspiring. Like,
Absolutely, man. Like, look at some of your closest buddies, or not even, they don't have to be that close, like you just said, right? Just someone that you're acquainted with,
right.
right? And be like, damn, dude, that guy made something. I remember that guy when he was pooping his pants, like over here, or like he broke into this store over here. You know what I mean? It was an accident. We were just kids, but he still did it, and you know the whole town looked at him as like maybe a shithead. And now look at him. You know, you're not the same person you were
That's right.
15, 20 years ago, right? This is the evolution. And when people come into their own and they mold into who they're gonna be, man, I love watching those stories. And partly why I do this, right? Because I like, you know, like you said, you were in high school, you were addicted to the opioids, you were an alcoholic. And now look at you, man. You're the furthest thing from that. You're a hardworking dude who loves his family. And you know, you got passions and you know, you look back at that time as a learning curve. You know, I had a lot of things to learn and a lot of places to go. And that was not gonna take me to any of those places. And now you're at this place, right?
Yeah. It's been the journey, man. Like, of especially with this music stuff, like starting to believe more and more in myself. And I'm still a pretty big self doubter, like, uh, I don't think my music's any good, or I get in times where I'm like, man, my music's not really that good. It doesn't compare. And, I'm sure you do the same thing. Like you get down on yourself or whatever. And it's just
Of
like,
course.
yeah. And, that's a constant battle that I deal with, is trying to like, dude, screw it, man. Who cares what anybody thinks? Like, there's people out there that like it. There's people out there that want to listen to it. Obviously,
Yep.
believe in yourself a little bit, man. You can
Yep,
do
that's
it.
all you need to do. A little bit of belief in yourself goes a long way, right?
Yeah.
Because then you start carrying yourself a certain way. You start acting different, right? And you know, as long as it's not a bad different, other people notice that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, man, look at the swagger on that guy. Look at the song about Birdie Ray, man, and look at Oilfield Money. Oilfield Money was a party, dude. You know, you it was like you it was like the sober party, right? You're you know what I mean? Like it was just a party of happiness and working. And Birdie Ray, man, like come on, how do you think that, you know, don't have any self-doubt when you listen to that stuff? Because that is incredible music.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you can relate to this, but like the main line in the Oilfield Money song is, I don't make a good life. I just make a good living. And I was like,
Boom.
I wrote that down one day. I was like, I mean, while I'm driving, I'm just thinking of like song ideas and they just pop in my head. And I wrote that down one day. I was like, dude, that's me. Like, for 6 years, until my wife finally convinced me to get out, not get out of the oil field, but settle down and get married. It's like, I'm just out here making a good life, or, making a good living, not necessarily making for a good life. It's like,
Yep. Yep.
that's a lot of us in the oil field. And I hope to see, people, I don't like to see people covered up and swallowed up by it, right? I mean, get in there, make your money, do what you
Get
can,
out.
but yeah, get out if you can, man. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I know
Always have
you're,
an exit strategy, right?
yeah, for sure, for sure. Like 10 years max.
Well, I gave myself a 5-year plan 12 years ago.
Yeah, we've all done it.
Oh man, you know what though? Like, look what it's given me. You know what I mean? Before TikTok, and I've said this a couple times in past episodes. During that 2 years where I worked 6 months at a time and I was barely home, I started questioning why I was here. I was in this industry. I was starting to question my role in it, if I belonged, right? If this is where I truly want to be. And you know, it wasn't until, you know, TikTok came along actually, and you know, I was falling out of love with the industry, right? And then TikTok happened, and you know, I realized I'm very much in love with the industry. I still love it. You know what I mean? Like we said earlier, it's a lifestyle and it's addicting, right? But like TikTok showed me, you know, yeah, the guys around me are going through it, but the guys on the other side of the world the guys in Texas, the guys in Indiana, or Indiana has oil, right? I meant to say Louisiana, but the guys in Pennsylvania, the guys in the back end, you know what I mean? They're all going through it too, and we all found each other, right? Because I went from being a part of this small Alberta circle to being a part of the worldwide picture of the oil and gas industry, right? Like
Yeah.
I've made friends with you. I've made friends with a guy from Malaysia who works on a platform rig out in the middle of the ocean, who's a big listener of the podcast, who's turned everyone on the platform onto the podcast, which is insane.
Nice.
Yeah, and then Texas, of course, and different parts of the world, and so it made me fall back in love with the industry, and I couldn't be more proud to be here.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah,
So
man.
how do you manage, like, I know for me, like I was so consumed by TikTok and Instagram and like trying to grow this music thing and like, dude, it wore me out. Like, not really trying to keep up with all that stuff, but like, I mean, I was literally addicted. Like, my child is over here crying and I'm like looking at my phone, seeing, maybe it wasn't that bad, but that's kind of the way it felt. So like this year, I actually like limited myself to 2 hours on social media, and like my phone locks out. Like, I mean, and maybe that's just my personality, and you may not be that way, but like I
No,
got
that's a great
addicted.
idea.
Yeah, I got addicted, dude. And like it was kind of consuming me, and like could kind of tell it's kind of messing with my mental well-being. So, and I'm sure like you get so many messages and comments and likes and all that stuff. Like,
Yeah, yeah. How do I deal with
can you
that?
turn it off when you go
Yeah,
home and stuff?
I can, and I've done it. When I go home, I try to stay off it during the day when my kids are awake, and my wife will put my kids to bed, and I'll go live while she's putting the kids to bed, and then my wife will come out and she's like, "Hey, I'm gonna fold some laundry, or I'm gonna play." She plays Disney's Dreamlight Valley on the Nintendo Switch, right? So it's kind of like I'm gonna play my game for a little bit. You keep going live. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll do this, and then she'll look at me when it's time to get off. I'll shut her down and we'll go watch a movie. We'll go hang out. We'll do whatever. And, just, yeah, but there is a struggle there at times, right? Like,
Yeah.
definitely. I can't lie about that. You know what I mean? Like, I find myself, you know, I hit writer's block sometimes, I guess, or creator's block, where it's like, damn, dude, who am I letting down by not posting out a video today? Right? Well,
Yeah.
nobody cares if I put out a video today or not. That's just me, right? I care.
Yeah.
And I think it happened this past summer actually, where for the first time in 2 years, well, yeah, 2 years when I started it, I didn't post a video during the day. I let it go, and I was like, oof, and it was freeing. You know what I mean? It was freeing. It was like,
Yeah.
cool. Nobody cared. The world didn't stop. I didn't lose all my followers. We're here, right? And there are days now where I'll go a couple days without posting. Hell,
Yeah.
I don't care. I'll post. I'll post. It's about quality over quantity, anyways, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Dude, some of your stuff is so funny, dude. Like, picking on the safety guys, stuff like that. Like, oh, it's so
oh,
funny.
right now I'm taking on the camp cook, and you know, it's funny, but like I don't know, it's hard to tell. I think she thinks it's funny too, but she's playing it up. She's like, "What did you say
Yeah.
about me in a video?"
Yeah.
And it's like
Real
everyone's
funny.
watching. Yeah,
Poisoning
no,
you.
yeah.
Put the
She
poison
asked
in
me
you.
the other day when she was cooking my steak. She's like, "You want me to hold the spit?" And I'm like, oh shit. But yeah, man, going after the safety guy and water haulers is a lot of fun. The
Yeah.
safety guy is one of them, and I get a couple of the safety guys out in the field. They come up to me and they're like, "Hey, man, that video, what's going on there, bud? Like what's happening?" And it's like, "Man, it's just a joke." He's like, I know it is, but like
Yeah.
I gotta razz you about it." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's shit we all go through."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any like welder videos. You picking on the rig welders yet?
I've done one rig welder video and it did really well, and that was like last winter, and it was like when the rig welder pulls up on the site and it's like that smells some skank ass coochie or something like that, right? And like it did fairly well, and maybe I should do more rig welding videos. There's definitely going to be something out there, but No, I have a lot of fun with the water haulers and the safety guys for sure.
Yeah, it's very common. Very good stuff.
Man, so when do you work? Do you still work in Texas, or are you like more local now?
So I do still work in Texas. We're kind of waiting for like a job, big job to come up, and probably like I was doing 3 weeks on and a week off. And now I can kind of set my schedule. So I'll probably be more like a 1 week a month, and kind of
Okay.
work from home when I can, stuff like that.
And that's
Life.
and that's and that's good. You can handle that. I know a lot of guys, they make a lot of good money, but they take more than a week off, and it's like, ooh, I'm broke, right? And it's
Yeah. Well, I tried to set myself up when I was doing this because all you hear is like, you better hang on to your money in the oil field. It goes up and it goes down. And
yeah.
so I did pretty good. I tried to set myself up where, like, if anything ever happened, I could take some time off or, still survive. So, yeah, it's all good,
It's
man.
good, man. So you really don't care if you have a couple weeks off at a time. You're just
Yeah,
like, hey, man, I get to hang out with my wife and my kids. Your soon to be kids. It's going to be plural very
kids,
soon, right? Right now, you're just
very,
got hanging out with Birdie Ray.
that's right. We have yet to come up with a name for baby boy, but
You got to sing a song about Baby Boy, man.
I
There's
know
got to be something there.
it's got to be. Maybe it'll come to me.
It
Maybe.
will. It'll come to you. Just be like, baby boy, I'd like to meet you. And I don't know, man. I want to play catch with you. You know,
Hell yeah. Let me write
go
that down.
go fishing in the pond in our backyard. You know,
Yeehaw.
the yeehaw. I love that, dude. It's crazy. If I ever make it out to Louisiana, okay, say it with your accent, because
Louisiana.
Louisiana. I'm gonna
Louisiana.
have. I need some benoits or beignets. Beignets. I need to get some
Beignets.
beignets.
Come on,
How
man.
how how are beignets?
They're everything that you could ever wish for.
The greatest thing on God's green earth.
Yes. They're pretty good.
Oh my! I've only heard stories, and I can't wait to try, man. So like, my goal is to go to NOLA only once, I guess. Yeah,
It's probably for the best,
there's
yeah.
a couple creators in Louisiana that I watch. Brittany Lockridge, I think her name is. She's in New Orleans. She's in
Yeah.
NOLA, and yeah,
She's way, yeah. She's below the equator.
the
She's
equator.
yeah. She's below the I-10. Like once you get below that, it's like, yep, that's Cajun for sure.
Cajun, and then that's like that's the swamp, right? That's where
Yeah.
you find gators and stuff
That's down in the dirty.
down in the bayou, the
Yeah.
bayou.
Yeah. That's the
You
one.
you go to the bayou? Have you been to the bayou?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've been there. So we usually go on hunt trips down there, like teal hunting during teal season. I don't know if you're duck hunter or anything like that, but yeah, dude, it's a lot of fun. A lot of mosquitoes.
how
Good
big are the
times.
mosquitoes down there?
They're like bald eagles.
Bald eagle.
Yeah.
So up north here, we have mosquitoes. In the Northwest Territories, we call them. Canada is a big, vast place, and the Northwest Territories is huge. You go up there, and northern Saskatchewan too. You go up there, and the mosquitoes eat the bats.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's how it
Oh,
is.
the mosquitoes are monsters, and they take a nice chunk out of your skin too.
Mm, I know all about it.
Oh man. Um, so do you got any plans for like a new album or anything like that?
Man, I do. I haven't really put it in motion yet, but I think what I want to do is kind of get a little more personal and release some songs that's just like acoustic, and maybe, like harmonica or something real simple. And, that was kind of my goal when I started putting out music, was just like get these songs out that I've written. I've got a buddy of mine, Tim, that's just like always hounding me. Is like, dude, you're good. Put your music out there. Just put it out there. And finally I did. But that's kind of what I want to get back to focusing on, is like less about uh, not producing, but like promoting music and just like get back to writing music and doing what I love. I mean, I just love telling stories. I love writing music. I don't enjoy promoting myself. I don't enjoy. Uh, I mean, I do like playing shows. I don't like sitting up there for 3 hours and playing cover songs. Like I like to play the songs that I wrote. I like,
Yeah. Yeah,
uh,
you're playing someone else's story. You want to play yours.
yeah, yeah. So I do have a plan to put like a 5 or 6 song kind of EP out, acoustic. Some old songs I wrote, some new songs I wrote. I got another song that I wrote for Birdie Ray. Um,
You got another one that
I
no
got
one's ever heard.
no one's ever heard.
What's
It's
this one called?
it's called. It'll either be called Two Rivers or Between Two Rivers. So where I grew up, there's the Red River on one side, and there's the Washita River or the Mississippi River on the other side. And so I was thinking about that. I was like, it's kind of like a lesson song, like, you know, this is kind of how life's going to be. And when these things come up, you know, and that's just life between two rivers. That's just kind of where we grew up. So
Okay.
one of those kind of
I
songs.
I have a girl. I had a girlfriend, and oh, I don't have this girlfriend. Let me get that clear. Sorry, I said
Heyo,
that. Hey,
heyo.
I had a girlfriend in middle school. Her name was Devin, and she had spina bifida, right?
I
And
think you told
she,
me that.
yeah, I think we talked about that on TikTok Live actually.
Yeah.
But she walked with like I think I don't want to get the details wrong. So if Devin, you're listening, I'm sorry. I think she had like a tiny hunch, right? Just a slight one, and then she had a bit of a like um like a limp, right? It it didn't really affect her that much from the outside looking in. Now, if I don't know if she was in pain all the time or not, but she never said anything, and I think
Right.
I don't think she was. I think she was fine, and so she's grown up now. She's got a husband and I think 4 kids, and she's living life, man. She's a teacher back home in Ontario, and dude, you got nothing to worry about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Birdie Ray's gonna grow up to do great things.
Yeah. There's no doubt. And like, I can remember talking to her mama, like before she was born, I was like, baby, if she can't walk, I'll carry her everywhere we
Hell
need to
yeah.
go. And it's like, now I mean, she's so close to walking, but like, even if she needs a little assistance or, walking sticks or, it's not a big deal. Like, she's awesome, dude. She's going to be great.
Hell yeah, man. And I think what hit me so much about that is like I have daughters, right? And yes, same. If any of them needed anything, and and I would be there in a heartbeat to do it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what resonated with me, right? Because and just the song, man, like it was beautiful. If I wish I had a guitar skill and I could sing, I would sing to the womb all the time, or I would have sung through the womb all the time. Because, Parenthood is a beautiful song that you just sometimes you can't find the words for.
Yeah.
Oh
Well,
shit!
it's still hard to sing, man. I'll tell you that, especially live. I play that song. I've been playing it for a year now, and it's like, just recently did I stop tearing up as I sang it because I start reliving all those emotions, like even though they're not with me today, like everything's, as good as it can be. It's like, it takes me back to that time where it's like,
You were scared.
yeah, scared to death, man. Like, this is it's your baby girl. Like, is she going to be okay? It's terrifying. And then, you spent some time in the NICU and like, I wish I could show you a picture of her when she was born. Like she had this huge opening in her back, and it's like she had surgery the next day, and it's like, is she going to wake up from surgery? It's like just all these things that a child shouldn't have to go through, and really neither should the parents. And it's tough, man. But we were in a hospital in Houston, and they let us stay in the hospital there, so we stay real close to her through the Ronald McDonald House. So like every time we go back, we got to go back every 6 months. We always donate to the Ronald McDonald House. So
You still got to go back every 6 months.
yeah, just to check up. So like we talked about some of the issues. I don't think we talked about a lot of them. Usually have like bladder issues, so they have to check her bladder, make sure her bladder's working, her kidneys are working, and all that kind of stuff. So they do routine checkups. Like right now, it's every 6 months, and as she gets older, it'd probably be every year. Just make sure everything's good.
Man, you're gonna be walking her down the aisle with no problems one day.
Stop it.
Dude, I've been thinking, like every time I see my daughter, right? I'm just like, one day I'm gonna have to give this kid away, and fucking it's not me that, and I'm talking about my youngest. It's not me that kid's gonna have to worry about. It's her, right? Like whoever she ends up marrying, God bless their soul. Right? Like she's the devil incarnate, man. It's insane.
She's wildfire, huh?
Well, they're two different roses from the same garden. You know what I mean? And it's crazy how I figured when my oldest was born, or no, when my oldest, we were when she was already born, but when my daughter, my youngest, was in the womb, I figured, my wife was pregnant with her anyway. I figured, fuck, I got this, right? We got the book on this already. There's one right there, right? Like
Right.
easy. We went through this once. How hard could it be? Crack your knuckles, put your arms back, and wait for delivery day. Let me tell you what, bud. They wrote a whole new book. Different instructions.
I'm terrified of that. Like, I've heard, like, if you have one and the first one's good, like, get ready for the second one.
Here it comes, man. It's gonna be. It's not gonna be bad, but it'll be an experience, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's not gonna be exactly the same, huh? Expect different things.
Absolutely. Hey, so there's a couple of things I want to know before we get to the end of this here. Can you play Oilfield Money?
Bro, I got you.
Ah, man, I love this song, and dude, I hope people download this song and add it to their playlist.
Me too. That'd be cool. Can you like edit out the tune-up?
Yeah, I mean, sure, if you want. Part of the process, right? Showing you how you get ready and how you prepare.
Screw it, it's close enough. We'll just go with it.
All right, it doesn't matter.
Close enough for the girls I go with anyway. Here we go. I rode to the bank just the other day, working on the tail and got carried away. Her old eyes got big as a hen when she saw that check I was cashing in. I swear I heard bells ringing in her head. She dropped what she was doing and climbed up in a cab. Pretty little thing, don't know what she was thinking. I don't make a good life, I just make a good living, yeah. Was that Oilfield money? 7 days a week, I can sleep when I die. That Oilfield money. Get it while it's good and the cotton's high. Buying fast cars and loving fast women. I don't make a good life, I just make a good living, yeah. I met an old girl, she was mighty fine. Spent my last dollar trying to make her mine. She wants to know why I can't settle down, 'cause money's too good working out of town. So give me a little dollar, but I have to pass. I'm Oilfield trash, making Oilfield cash. Ain't no shame, I'll be the first to admit it. I don't make a good life, I just make a good living, yeah. That Oilfield money, 7 days a week, I can sleep when I die. That Oilfield money, get it while it's good and the cotton's high. Buying fast cars and loving fast women. I don't make a good life, I just make a good living, yeah. That Oilfield money, 7 days a week, I can sleep when I die. That Oilfield money, get it while it's good and the cotton's high. Buying fast cars and loving fast women. I don't make a good life, I just make a good living, yeah. I said buying fast cars and loving fast women. I don't make a good life, I
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, man. I
Yeah.
love that song, man. I love it.
It'll fire you up, won't it?
That'll get you fired up for a good start of your 12-hour day. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah, man.
You're just going in. You're like, fuck, I don't want to be here right now. And then it's like, fuck it. I don't make a good life. I make a good living.
Let's
Oilfield money. Get up on there and get to work, boys.
let's just get that money, boy.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Oh, man, that fires me up. I just want to go to work right now. Oh, damn. That's awesome, buddy. Man, dude, I tell you this all the time. Every time, like the first time you ever came into my live, you followed me back, you came into my live, and I'm like, I got real excited. I'm like, oh my God, Ben Allen Curry's here. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God. And I got really excited, and you came in and we chatted, and you played Birdie Ray for me on my live. Well, not for me. You played it for everyone that was in there because I wanted them to hear it too. And same thing here. I want everyone who's listening to hear you and hopefully, go over, follow you. Go download your music, dude. Because honestly, like, I don't know. You're constant in my playlist now. So, and on my TikTok, if you don't pop up on my FYP, I usually once a month will go looking for you, see if there's anything new. So,
I appreciate it, man. That motivates me. I appreciate it very much.
Yeah. Man, I hope you never stop being you. You're amazing. You're incredible, and never change.
Thank you. You the same, man. Like,
thanks, buddy.
It's not just a Oilfield connection. Like when I came in your live and we just talked, and you made it real easy to talk to. So I appreciate you being a friend and inviting me on this podcast for sure. Yeah.
Oh man, I wanted to get you on here a while ago, but schedules and busy, and hey, it happens when it happens. It's meant to happen when it happens. You know what I mean? Maybe a couple weeks ago wouldn't have been so good. We wouldn't have had. Who knows? It's supposed to happen when it happens. When I ask people and they say no, and they're like, "Sorry, man," and I'm like, "Hey, don't say sorry. This podcast is not going anywhere. We'll get her done when it gets done. It doesn't matter."
Yeah. How's it doing for you?
Really good. The numbers are great. I'm not in it for the numbers. I like the conversation. And the feedback from it has been amazing so far as well. Like, the people that have been listening to it have been like, hey, man, I follow this person now, and I love the conversation you've had with them. Dougie Snakes, huge guy in the oil. He worked in the oil patch, but huge guy on TikTok. And so many people can relate. So many people have gone down that road. You know what I mean? Or are going down that road and don't know that they need a way out yet. They know they need to get out, but they haven't figured out a way. And the mental health conversations we have, I've gotten messages about that saying, hey, thanks for having that conversation. As a man who works in the oil field, who's supposed to, be this, shining example of what men are supposed to be like, you can let down your guard and your walls and talk about how you're feeling. That's inspiring. And I'm like, man, I'm not trying to be inspiring. We're just trying to do the right thing,
Yeah.
So,
well, this is other than like one TikTok where I posted about my sobriety, like this is the first time I've ever really talked about it publicly, I guess. And there are a lot of people out there that struggle with it and wonder what that life is like. Is it possible? I mean, dude, I got sober when I was 20 years old. It's definitely possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, what's the wife and kids? Because they're both there. What are the wife and kids doing right now?
She's trying to put Birdie Ray to sleep, and they're in there watching TV. Yeah.
All right. I was gonna say, when I asked you to play the guitar, I wasn't thinking about that. Right. I wasn't thinking. Oh man, it came to me while you were in the middle of it. I was like, oh no, what are the babies asleep? It's kind of late.
No, it's all good. It's all good. She's used to it, man.
No, dude, I bet you she'll be playing along with you one day.
I hope so. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, you can do the Birdie Ray and Ben Allen Curry chord duet, traveling duet show. I don't know. You can make your own album.
Yeah, the duet.
The duet squad. The trio, because there will be three.
There will be three.
Are you
Yeah.
gonna go for one more,
I'm,
or is this it?
this is it, dude. Getting the snip after this. But
That's it, eh?
I will force those children to play musical instruments.
Hell
I'll,
yeah!
I'm gonna beat it into them. Look, I talked my wife into letting me buy this guitar because it's a hummingbird,
Yeah.
and we were down there in Houston getting ready for Bernie to get here, and I was like, "Oh, babe, look!" Like I totally didn't know what it was. I was like, "Oh, babe, look, this one has a bird on it. We got to get it for Birdie Ray." Anyway,
And she let you do it.
yeah,
You tugged at the heartstrings, and that was it.
that was it, dude. Hook, line, and sinker.
Hook, line, and sinker. Boom. That's awesome, man. Okay, well, one question I like to end the podcast with, and of course, you know what Mount Rushmore is. You're American, so Mount Rushmore has the four most influential people in American history on it. And so, who would be on your Mount Rushmore? Who do you look up to or inspire to be?
Dude, what a good question. And I have three that come to mind right off the bat. So one is a singer-songwriter from Alabama named Adam Hood. I advise everybody to go check out his music. He did it his way, man. Like, uh, he wrote songs for big folks. He's wrote with Chris Stapleton and wrote for Miranda Lambert and Little Big Town and all these things. But he did it. He sang the songs he wanted to sing. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Really good music. Really the reason why I got started playing. And then also, Chris Knight is another tremendous storyteller, huge songwriter. I
Is that
advise everybody.
Knight with a K or
Yeah, Knight with a K. He's got a song called Oil Patch Town. Check that
Yep.
one out. You may like
Okay.
that one.
Okay. And what was the first guy's name again?
Adam Hood.
Adam Hood.
Yeah, Hood.
All right, I'll check him out too.
And then, man, I'd have to say my stepdad. Like, I've got that song called Car Guy. We grew up working on hot rods. He did paint and body work for 20 years. Very influential in my life. He's up there for sure. And let me think of I had a teacher in college. He was a military guy named Mr. Pike. He taught me how to teach myself and got me to where I am, made me believe in myself. Let me put one more up there. I got a buddy of mine named Stephen Aaron. He was just a hillbilly hick from Arkansas. Arkansas, he was an older guy and was going to college and made me believe in myself that I had it in me to do something better for myself. And so I put him up there too.
Hell yeah, man. That's awesome. I love that. Your Mount Rushmore is, very the singer-songwriter thing. And then, where you were saying earlier, you weren't sure where you were going in life. You were going through addiction. Mental health is definitely a part of that. And so, two guys that tried to, hey, there's better, there's a better version of you and it's right around the corner.
Right on, man.
That's huge, buddy.
That's a good question.
Thanks, man. My boss actually asked that of me a couple of years ago.
Who you got?
So it's changed. It's changed a couple times, right? And recently I was asked that on a podcast. And number one is my dad. Not for reasons that most guys have their dad on would have their dad on there. It's someone I aspire not to be. And he's up on there, you know what I mean? He's up on there as there's a different path. You know what I mean? Don't be this guy. You go whatever way he went, go the opposite way.
Yeah.
My Nana, I didn't meet her until I was 23. My dad was adopted when he was younger and found his real birth mom 50 years later through the ancestry thing, not the ancestry thing, through the Children's Aid Society anyway. And so she's on there. She's a fighter. She was supposed to die a couple of times and cancer was supposed to take her out. She fought it, done. She was in a bad car accident where she died, I think, once or twice, and she's here. And
Wow.
she just had 2 strokes 2 Christmases ago, back to back. And, she's fighting it, man. You know what I mean? She's fighting it. She's not doing so good health wise. She's her mind's slipping a bit, but you know what? I have a hard time with that a little because I didn't really know her growing up, and she didn't know me, so I'm part of that short term memory that's gone for her,
Oh,
and
wow.
that hurts. That hurts a
Yeah,
little bit, but we get over that, I guess. And my wife and my kids.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
Shout
man.
out to my wife and kids too. Amen to that.
Shout out. Yeah.
Hey, listen to my song. I just released the latest one called "Just Close Your Eyes."
Just close your eyes, Kate. I'm writing
Yep,
that down. Just close your eyes.
yep. It's a song I wrote about my grandmother. Went to see her in the hospital before she passed, and like she kept saying she was ready to go home, and I was like, Mama, you can't go home. Like, you're not doing too good. You're sick. She's like, no, baby. She's like, I'm ready to go home to heaven. And I was like, oh,
Damn.
and like, dude, I came home that day and I wrote that song in like 2 seconds. Yeah, check it out.
I will. My wife's Nana, grandma. Sorry, not Nana. Her grandma. It was Christmas Eve. She lives in a home, and we're back home visiting, and she was supposed to come spend Christmas with us. Right, we're all gonna be under one roof, and she was walking around the nursing home saying, "I'm going home. I'm going home for Christmas. I'm going home for Christmas." She went and had a nap and never woke up. She went home for Christmas.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, she went home for Christmas. And I remember I only met her 2 or 3 times. The first time I met her, my wife and I had already been together like 12 years. And, just family stuff, right? So 12 years we'd been together before I met her. And the first time she came up to me and she's like, "You must be JR," because my name's Richard, right? And
Richard.
yeah, she got it. She got the initials wrong, but she was there, right? "You must be JR. Aren't you a handsome little critter?" Right? And I was like, "Oh, geez, I like this woman already," right? And just I only met her a couple times, but someone definitely worth remembering and missing for sure.
Like, yeah.
Hell yeah, man. I'll definitely give Just Close Your Eyes a listen to probably right after this. I gotta go call my kids soon though. They're getting ready for bed, and it's huge. Being back in camp or being done work in time most of the time is if I can't make it back to call them before to go to bed, it just ruins my whole night, right? It's just
Yeah,
like, I didn't make it. It's shit. When I make it back before they go to bed and I get to call them, it's a great feeling,
that's awesome,
It's
dude.
amazing, yeah.
We'll go call him
All right,
for
buddy.
sure.
Well, thanks for coming on, man. This was fun, and I can't wait till it releases. It'll be. I think this one will be like the first Tuesday in May, actually. But just yeah, I can't wait for it to come out. I'm gonna listen to this one back probably a couple times. I like to listen to them, figure out how I can improve, or just to listen just because it's amazing, right? And I like that guest, and you're definitely someone I really enjoy talking to. So I'm probably gonna listen to it back a couple times anyway. I got a bit of a drive tomorrow, so I'll throw on the Bluetooth in the truck and away I'll go.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Look, you stay safe out there and keep doing it for the reasons you're doing it
Thanks, man. I
for the
appreciate
family.
that.
Yeah,
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. At the end of the day, that's the only reason why. Um, yeah. I lost that whole thing. I'm out here just solely because I want to be Oilfield, and and you used to think it was this kind of tough working in this industry. It's here,
that's
all
right,
of it
dude.
here, and it took a while to realize that, but here we are, man. And so my why has changed quite a bit in the last 5 or 6 years. So
I bet.
yeah,
I bet.
absolutely. Yeah.
Well, good
All right,
good
buddy.
talk to you, man. Stay
Great
safe.
talk, man. This has been fun, and thank you guys for coming on. And hey, Ben, stay frosty.
Later, brother.
Later, brother.